Good morning, everybody. Learning in the month of Tevis, Leilun Nishmas Levi ben Yosef and Bas Yefega Bas Yisrael. This week is sponsored by Yael and Avi Miller, L'Refuah Shlema L'Chol Cholei Am Yisrael, by Rabbi Michael and Phyllis Miller, memory of Phyllis's brother and father, Mordechai Nachman ben Chaim Meir, and Chaim Meir ben Yaakov Nachum, by Jill and Robert Kaufman, memory of Robert's grandmother, Chaya Bas Aryeh Leib, who was your Yahrzeit this week, by Jodians of Standard, memory of Jody's Abba, Mickey Wall, upon his 10th Yahrzeit, Yosef Chaim ben Yechiel Halevi, and by the Deutsches, in memory of Avram's mother, Sarah Raitza, Bat Zion, Bas Avram Yaakov, whose Yahrzeit is this week on Yud Zayin Tevis. Okay, Baruch Hashem, we have a lot to get to, a lot to cover. I'm very excited that we began last week's shiur. We just did the dedication. Okay, so we're on Daf Chaf in the second perek in Es Yeladecha, Know Your Children. The question that came up last week is, why do you need to love your children? Which sounds like a stupid question. It sounds like a very ridiculous question even. But when we look at when we kind of think about it, the way we unfolded it last week, we understood that not giving love to your child one morning may be okay. It's like them missing breakfast. Them not giving love to your kid one afternoon and one evening, and they miss 3 meals a day, that's a little bit more complicated. But that can't continue. And we likened love that a child receives from parents to mazon ruchani, to spiritual nourishment. When we look at it like that, it changes the way that we approach this whole concept of giving love, showing love, expressing love. But it's much more than that. It's not just that. That was just the beginning. And what we're going to be seeing today, as you see the topic in front of us, is chiyuniyut ahava avur chinuch hayeladim. The word in Hebrew, chiyuniyut, means essentiality, essential, chiyuni, something that's chiyuni. That love is essential for the chinuch of children. Not just that we have to love kids, but if we want to believe that we are responsible and conscious mechanchim and mechanchot, people that are giving over chinuch to our children, now we have to understand that without love, then it's very, very difficult to bichlal give over chinuch to your children. Now, when I say when I say the phrase, being mechanech your children, to educate them, give me the first few adjectives that come to mind when I say the word chinuch for your children, education. What would they be? Academic, okay. What's that? Sorry? Okay. Correct. What else? Values, 100%. What else? Gentle. I thought I was waiting for discipline. Discipline, right? Huh? It's a women's shiur. I forgot. Right?
Through your day. Make your way through your day and
the basics of life.
Yeah.
The basics of life, like teaching them the ropes, lakidu, the things that we're told of how to make it in this world and all those things. And yet, and while all those things are true, tying it back to the beginning of this series, without the mashpech, without the funnel system, which must first be created through love, all those good things, essential things, and important things we want to give over to our children, they won't reach them. You could have the greatest ideas. You could have the greatest ideas. You could have the most amazing strategies. You can have the most amazing personal stories about what you went through in life. And I remember so many times when I was younger, and I would hear from friends how their parents would say to them, you know what I went through in order to get through it? You think that I was pampered like you're pampered? Like, those things don't help anyone. They don't help any kid finding out that their grandfather was beaten twice a week in order to make them a tough, strong man out there in the working system. These things don't work. They don't do anything for us. actually they do something for us. It's the opposite. It's actually the opposite. So we're going to see today, and it's very, Baruch Hashem, this lashon, the language we're using today, it's a very simple flow. It shouldn't be too complicated, and if anything comes up that's not clear, please let me know. חיוניות רדף כף. חיוניות האהבה עבור חינוך הילדים. סיבה נוספת שבגינה ההורים צריכים להעניק לילדיהם אהבה, היא סיבה חינוכית כפי שיובהר לבנינו. Another reason why parents must give love to their children is an educational reason. סיבה חינוכית. As we're going to be explaining today. במסגרת הדברים שההורים צריכים להעניק לילדיהם, קיימים שני מימדים. There are two worlds that we have to speak about when it comes to what we want to give over to our children. מימד אחד חומרי, a materialistic concept, שחלקו נובע מכך שהילדים נולדים חסרי ישע. A kid that's born into this world is, whether we like it or not, on a very materialistic level, they're born chasrei yesha. You know what that means? Helpless. Helpless. Meaning they come into this world, they don't have anything. They just come into the world. And that's one thing that we have to just be conscious of always, that they come into this world with nothing. Mamash nothing. ועל כן עול הגידול שלהם מוטל על כתפי ההורים, עם כל הכרוך בכך מבחינה גשמית, which means that the yoke of raising them that's placed on their shoulders of their parents means that you got to supply them with just about everything. Now you'll be the deciding factor as to until what age that's true. Okay, I mean, I once was speaking to friends of mine, were discussing chinuch of children, and they came to a very clear, it wasn't a hefker decision, but a very clear decision that said, listen, we're giving our children everything till they're 13. From 13 on, they got to start owning up for it. So I was like, wow, that's pretty, I didn't know what to say when they said that to me, and to my wife, and to Bina, when they said it to us together. 13. From 13 on, it's kind of on them. Lahavdil, elef alfei havdalas.
But what's on them?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask. I asked them too. I said, well, what's on them? It's like, food? Like, no, food we'll just, we have in the fridge and everything, but all those other things that kids expect from their parents, they got to earn it. I said, like what? Like money? I'm like, 13-year-old? Like, well, you got to earn it. Like, so what's the earning? Like, what do they have to do in order to get it? So that, lahavdil. I have this whole mishigas with NBA, right? With basketball. It's more men's, comes up in the men's shiur much more. Whatever. I'm from LA. And it was very easy and fun being a very avid NBA basketball and baseball and everything other fan. But growing up in the LA in the 80s, my team always won. So it was very easy to like the team that I was around and get into it very much. You've heard of Shaquille O'Neal, right? Can't believe he's coming up into a shiur on Sunday morning in shul in Efrat, but weirder things have happened here. He once said, huh?
He's the one that you told. Who did you teach?
Oh, you remember that? No. That was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. That's another shiur. We'll do another shiur. But no, this is not a personal story with him. It's just I saw an interview once where he said he has 6 kids, and he told his kids, if you want to touch the cheese, earn 2 degrees. What is that? The interviewer had no idea what that meant either. What's the cheese? The cheese is the gelt, right? If you want to touch the cheese, they have to have, each of his kids has to have, they have to get 2 degrees. A B, an M, and an NA. Yeah, pretty interesting that, and he's very chazak in this. When a kid is born, you imagine you telling a kid from the moment they could understand English or Hebrew or whatever language you communicate with them, if you want to earn the cheese, earn to whatever. It won't work. So as much as we forget this at a later stage in life, when we came into this world, when our children come into this world, it's all on us. Everything. That kind of doesn't leave us for the rest of our lives. As much as we'd like to build them up in everything, there is a part in us that if it's healthy, And every child should find their way, Bezrat Hashem. But there's a part of us that if it's always healthy, then a parent could never, ever stop wanting at least to provide everything for their child forever. You know how painful it is when I get to speak to parents. Children are older, and the parents are in such dire pain because they can't give to their child all that they want to give them. That's a very heavy sugya. And what a blessing thing, what a blessed thing is when a parent is still alive and able to still give to the child. To give to the child everything that they want to give them. It's not pashut. It's not a simple thing. So first of all, I just want to give us a bracha that we should be able to give our children everything. Everything that we're able to. Kol yimei chayinu, while we're building them, not instead of building them. While we're building them. And the emes is, and the biggest joke is that that they're totally building us. Every time they enable us to be able to be that which we were sent down to be in this world, like great parents, they're building us. It's very clear. The illusion is that we're mashpia, they're mekabel. But when they allow hashpa to come in, they totally are enabling us to grow, and they're giving us back more than we could ever, or want to admit to them. Okay, so the first thing he says over here is that they come in helpless, and then you gotta give them everything. Now we're in the third to bottom paragraph, on the fourth line. Meimad nosaf shekayam behorut, says the Bilvavi, another element that exists in parenting, hu hachova shel hahorim livnot ule'atzev et ishiuto shel hayeled. The obligation on parents to build and to design the character of the child. Ma shemugdar b'lishonenu, that's already what's called in our language chinuch. ועבור מימד זה נצרכת אהבה בין ההורה לילד כפי שיבואר לפנינו. If you want to mechanech your child, you need to be able to have love. If you want to just supply your kids with all the materialistic needs that they have, do you need love? No. That's the distinction of today's shiur, and we have to understand that. Because many parents are under the assumption, and also many spouses are like this as well, but today we're speaking about chinuch. They're under the assumption that if I'm supplying my child with everything, if I'm giving them everything they need, don't they know that that's love? No, not at all. If I give my wife everything she could possibly ever dream of and more, isn't that love? Ma pitom. And if I'm making meals for my husband every single day, and I'm telling my children to stand up when he walks into a room, and all those things, is that love? No, it's certain things that are maybe essential, but that's not love. That's not love, that's not what's going on over there. And now he explains why this is so essential when it comes to chinuch, that if there's no love, if there's no real love there, that's felt, that's expressed, keep on mechaneching for 50 gilgulim, it won't change a thing. It won't do anything. And again, it'll do something, not what you're thinking. It'll do the opposite. Yiduim divrei apasuk b'mishlei. Shlomo HaMelech says in Mishlei, et asher yohav Hashem yochiach. This is a hard one. Those people that are loved by Hashem, Hashem will mochiach otam. What does lochiach? What does that mean? To rebuke. It doesn't mean to prove. Lochiach. Tochecha. You've heard that word before, right? Yochiach. They'll be rebuked. Now listen to these words. כאשר האדם משוכנע שהמוכיח אותו הוא אוהבו, when a person is convinced that the person that is being rebuking them loves him, ברוב המקרים הוא יקבל בקלות רבה יותר את התוכחה. Not always, but most of the time, it's nice to say that the person that's receiving the תוכחה will be able to receive it. לעומת זאת, אם האדם משוכנע שסיבת ההוכחה היא קנטרנות, sin'ah, kin'ah, if a person is convinced that the reason that the person in front of me is muchiach me, is rebuking me, it's coming from kanteranut, that means like to make fun, to tease, or there's hatred, or there's jealousy, yeshno sikui kalush, shu yikabel et ota tochecha, there's barely a really, sikui kalush means there's a very little chance that that person will receive that rebuke. So נמצא, we see from this, שללא אהבה בין ההורה לילד, הילד יתקשה לקבל את תוכחת ההורה והדרכתו. Without the love that's shining bright between a parent and a child will have a very difficult time to receive. Here we're calling it tochechat haoreh, but most people really, you have to just give another word for that. What's the tochecha of the horeh? What else would we call it? Chinuch. Ve'adrachato, and guidance. Now, in every family, these dynamics work differently, and that's why I don't want everyone to think here, oh, this is true across the board. It's not. The way that it happens in each family is very different. So that's why if someone shares something now, it doesn't mean that you're disproving what he's saying. It just means, or that you're disproving how it works in someone else's house. But there has to be a machane meshutaf. That means a common goal. What's the machane meshutaf? That we know we have an obligation to mechanech our children. We have an obligation for it. No one's exempt from it. But there's a thing that has to come. There's a prerequisite in order to enter that realm of obligation. And that is love. And without that, you can't fulfill this incredible, awesome, amazing, and holy obligation of mechaneching your children. Yes?
So I'm asking about my experience only. If a child is oppositional, is that ipso facto that I'm not showing the love, or maybe I don't have it, or I don't have enough, or the mashpech is wrong? Is that
Well, there's a lot of different things you said there.
Yeah,
The
okay.
first thing, does it show that the love is off?
In other words, is it an indication that something's wrong? If the kid is oppositional, is something wrong with the parent?
Yes, only you, because whenever we discipline, it always works perfectly, Mindy. So really, it's your problem, and you should seek help. You know the answer. Come on.
I was just wondering if he had any kind of generalization here.
No, because he keeps on saying, it's interesting. Whenever he gives over a Torah, he says, berov hamikrim. He says, generally.
Right.
Or not, he's very careful here, and that's why I like this very much. It's not this approach that says, and this is how you do it. He's saying, generally speaking, this is how it'll flow through. But to go back to what Wendy's obvious, the question that I'm sure each of us now, without joking, has experienced, I'm certain that I love my child and that they know that I love them. And then when I tell them something that's like not lovey-lovey, but it's more chinuch, it doesn't flow. What's wrong with me? So aleph, nothing. You have to there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing, what could be better about that specific situation? Each kol mikre legufo. We could discuss each thing. You may be certain that the mashpech is working. You may be clear, the funnel system's working, and I don't know why there's a mitzido, there's a clog. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have to relook and re-examine the funnel system that was built in order for them to receive what you're trying to give over to them. Further, I would say even something else. Are you sure you understand what you're trying to give over to your child? Not you, Mindy, anybody. Now that happens quite often. We're sure we're telling them something, they don't understand it. Do I have to say this till I'm blue in the face? Well, maybe you have to change the wording. Maybe you have to say the same exact concept, but in a different way. So there could be a million different things. But love can never be optional. That's the point he's trying to make here. Love can never be optional. The child that's sitting there hearing your voice must know that this is emanating from a source of love. And without that, even if the child ends up doing what you're telling them to do, that's not really chinuch. That's discipline. That's like learning in a school, or trying to get a job and learning the ropes of how it works there. Now, this sugya, just to make it clear to everybody, obviously, this is touching on a lot of very sensitive chords because, how many people today could really say, and some can, but some people can't, that could say, listen, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to taste love and receive guidance from a parent. That's how I grew up. And then you wonder, how am I supposed to know how to do this if I didn't receive this from home? So I just want to say something about that. The fact that you, Khalila, unfortunately, painfully, may have not received it from home in a healthy way. which is basically 80% of the last generation, just to make everyone feel calmer, okay? You sometimes have some rare occasions where it was just flowing and it was good. Until today you see it, right? The whole door was speaking in a different language. We were everyone, you think now, like I said in Shul on Friday night, everyone's suffering from PTSD. How long do you think PTSD took place after 1945? How long do you think? It's still taking place. Are you kidding me? It's dull. Auschwitz, end of chapter, right? So the world was been a state of, especially the Yiddish world. The Jewish world is in a complete state of frenzy. No one really knows, like, how, on a chinuch level, how the love is supposed to be there and everything. So all of us are kind of sharing this question mark of like, okay, so if it wasn't really embedded in me properly the way that I believe it could have been from home, do I have a chance of discovering that on my own now and starting from scratch and then giving that over to my children? And the answer to that is?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
It has to, no, that's okay. That's okay. No one knows who you are. I don't know who you are. I don't even know what you're doing here. No, I'm kidding. The answer is yes. Just because you didn't receive it from home, that does not mean, chas v'shalom, that it's not in your kochos to figure this out. Because Rabbi Nachman says, ha'ikar talui baratzon. Everything is dependent on how bad you want something. And if you want something bad enough, even if you wouldn't receive it, so it didn't come naturally, you'll get there. It has to be. I believe this is a principle of faith. This is an ikaron of emunah. Maybe a little bit more difficult because it's not something you grew up with. It's not maybe your mama lashon, right? Your mama lashon is not that love that we're speaking about, but to create it, to learn that language is possible. He will explain to us that obviously a parent that's not in constant dialogue with Hashem over the chinuch of their children will have a much more difficult time learning this lashon, learning this language, definitely. But it's still beheseg yad. That means it's reachable for anyone that really, really, really wants it. And I don't know anyone, especially women that are coming to a Sunday morning shiur week after week, that don't really want it. We would want anything. We would want if we could jump to the future right now and interview our children, or hear an interview that someone does with our children. And the question that our child is asked in their 30s and 40s and 50s is, tell us, your parents, they knew what they were doing at home? So they may say, they didn't really know exactly. They were like discovering it themselves, but we saw how much they wanted to do it right. And what was clear to us is that love was in the air. Who wouldn't want to hear those words? Don't kid yourself. You want to hear your kids say, my parents, they know exactly what they were doing. No. I don't know anyone that could really say that. But to hear your child say, when they become parents, to say, they were trying, and they tried really well, and did everything work? Obviously not. But was love there when they were talking to you? Yes. That's everything. That's a tefillah. That's everything in the world. It should be our schus. It should be from our chelik that we're old enough to hear that interview. Be'ezrat Hashem, like when our kids are. Some of your kids are like mamish. How old's your latest one? Imagine already going there, and saying, yeah, that's already what I want to hear. That's what I would do anything to hear. So that the love is there, and therefore when it's times of chinuch, and I have to say something a shtickle strong, okay, so obviously Hashem should bless me with the right way how to say it, going back to what Mindy brought up. But if they know that it's all love, then even if they're showing that they're being rebellious and they can't hear it, if you trust the funnel system, then what they hear is love. It really is. And it lasts with them. Okay, so now bottom paragraph. Achen, inyana tochecha huva kedugma bilvad. This concept of a rebuke, which really means just stark chinuch, it was brought as an example. Ulam ha'ava shel ha'orim nitzrechet avor kol ha'karuch b'chinuch ha'yiladim. But love that parents need for their children is needed in all realms of chinuch, not just when you have to say something chazak. Not just when you have to be a little bit tough. The love is needed for everything. You want to give over a minhag to your children. You know, like in our home, the girls started like a few Lubavitch customs we picked up along the years. My girls, I don't know who else does it here, my girls light candles since they're 3. Anyone else do that? Yeah, it's such a beautiful, it's such a gewaltige thing. Now, I mean, I didn't grow up like that. My sisters didn't like when they were 3. My mother didn't like when they were 3. But we felt very connected to that minhag. It's a beautiful thing. Now, there's 2 ways of going about it. That can become the most horrifying Friday afternoon experience. Such something that's supposed to be so beautiful can become such an ugly thing. How? Get down here! Mommy, I'm 4. Like, get down right now, and you have to light your candle. Then it's completely. Anything beautiful can be completely flushed down into something that becomes kol kach lo la'inyan, you know. So love is needed in all realms of chinuch, not just when you're trying to say something chazak to your child, but also when you're trying to give over something beautiful to your child. If love isn't the story behind what you're trying to give over, even those beautiful things may have a chance of fading, chas v'shalom. וכפי שהערכנו למעלה לבאר, like we explained above, עצם החינוך הינו שלב שני. We already spoke about this. Chinuch is secondary to the relationship between a parent and a child. קודם לכך, what comes before? חייבים לייסד. לייסד comes from the word יסוד. Yesod means foundation. You have to concretize, you have to make a foundation. The shlav harishon, the first level, shu hakesher v'ahava ha'adadiyim ben ha'orim le'eladim, which is the connection and mutual love between parents and children, shemehavim kegesher benehem, because that serves as the bridge. That serves as the bridge for anything to be met, for anything to have a way of getting across to, anything. And he gives a beautiful, simple mashal here. Mashal lemayim hanimtzaim bekinneret. Everyone drank water this morning? Bezrat Hashem, you're drinking water now. Where did this water come from? Mashal lemayim hanimtzaim bekinneret. Bichdei sheyagiu lebeiteinu, in order for it to reach our homes, anu tzrichim livnot tzino shedarko yavru hamayim. We need to build a pipeline for which that water could reach our homes. Ubanimshal shu chinuch. This parable is, of course, teaching us about chinuch. Kasher horim me'unyanim la'anik le'yiladeim chinuch. When parents want to give over chinuch to their children, tchila alehem livnot ahava klapei ha'yiladim. So they first have to build love towards their children. כדי שתשמש כצינור שדרכו יהיה ניתן להעביר לילד את החינוך, so that it serves as a tzינור, as the pipe through which chinuch can also be passed through to the child. And now he brings such a beautiful, beautiful Torah. This is an amazing thing. Look at, this is taking us to Parshas Truma. When Moshe Rabbeinu was building the Mishkan. כאשר משה רבינו רצה לבנות את המשכן, עלה בדעתו לבנות תחילת הכלים, ולאחר מכן את המשכן. Moshe Rabbeinu first wanted to build the utensils, the vessels, and only afterwards to build the Mishkan. Amar lo Betzalel. Now, who was Betzalel? What was his inyan? What would we say about Betzalel? Chacham Lev. He is the wisdom of his heart was beyond, surpassed everyone. So Betzalel comes to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he says to him like this: Im livnet hakelim kodem hamishkan. If we build the utensils, if we build the vessels before the Mishkan, heichan naniach et hakelim ad shetistayem b'niyat hamishkan. You hear how beautiful this is? Where are we going to place the vessels until the building of the Mishkan is finished? So tchila yesh livnot et hamishkan, ve'la'achar miken livne et kelav. So first you have to build the Mishkan, and only afterwards you build its vessels. Ve'achen, Moshe Rabbeinu hiskim im da'ato shel Betzalel. Moshe Rabbeinu agrees to what Betzalel said, ve'af shibcho al kach, and he praises him for it. What's going on over here? What's the mashal going on over here, right? Well, what's the Mishkan?
The house.
Yeah, but in the context of our shiur, what is the Mishkan and what are the vessels? Just so it's clear to everybody.
You need the foundation before you bring the keli.
The foundation is the bayit, the home, the Mishkan. The vessels are chinuch, instruction, like the guidelines. What's that?
Literal tools.
Literal tools. Like literal tools, exactly. So Moshe Rabbeinu, it's interesting. Of course he's going to say, well, we need vessels first so therefore when the house is built, then we could just use it right away. No, it doesn't work like that. It's the other way around. The yesod, the foundation has to be built first in order for then the vessels that you learn and develop have a place to be placed inside right away. Is that clear, the mashal that he gave? Is that clear to everybody? Did anyone ever notice that there was an argument between Moshe and Betzalel in the parashiyos that deal with the, yeah? Because the Rebbe speaks about that. That's probably how you know that.
I asked my class. I asked my 5-year-olds
Yeah?
which they would do first.
And what did they
Took
say?
a poll.
Yeah?
You built the furniture or would you build the house first?
Do you remember
Everybody, it
the...
makes sense. You're going to build a house. You're going to go out and buy furniture. Where you're putting it?
It sounds like Moshe Rabbeinu was slow when you say it like that. It's like, it's like it makes sense. Like, you know... But it's
very
true.
cute, though.
But think about the other way. Like, so why do you think Moshe Rabbeinu had this desire to actually build the tools first, the vessels first? We're like that, by the way. We're much more like that.
What did Hashem do when he was creating the world?
Well, the truth is, he did what Betzalel did. He did what Betzalel did. But why? I'm saying, going back to the question, why did Moshe Rabbeinu think that you should really build the vessels first, only then build the Mishkan? Think about it in your own life. What's that?
He was excited.
Maybe, but he could have been excited to build the Mishkan, the actual home. You could say that excitement.
I mean, he was all
It's
about
easier?
He was all
What do you
about
mean?
the Torah.
So it's easier, right? It's easier to learn. Listen, it's easier to learn some tool and technique in parenting.
But he
much
was all
easier.
about Torah. That's what he was. That was his job.
Nachon?
So that's how he thought.
That's how we thought. No, listen.
I think.
This is not a Moshe Rabbeinu bashing shiur. God forbid, ever. It'll never be. We're never bashing anybody. We're just learning. You know, when the Torah presents for us something that's a very clear distinction between two gedolim, it's aleinu, our schus, and our obligation to extract from what the Torah puts in front of us to learn it l'maisa for our lives. But Sarah, I want to go back to what you said. You said it was easier or more accessible. Like it's right there in front of me. It's a baby step. Mishkan is what? It's the foundation. It's the love. It's the whole point and purpose. And sometimes I think that if I don't build it right immediately, I'm doing a churban to my children. So I want to address this for a second. Sometimes we think we have to go more with tools versus focusing on love because of a fear of building a Mishkan that's not as beautiful as I know it needs to be for our children. You know, there's something that's called shiputzim, right? You know what shiputzim are? You know, it's, for many people, it's a very triggering word. Even for American. You were about to embark on this oilam called shiputzim. Shiputzim, Ruth, you've been there. It's not a gewalt. It's you get there, but then there's more shiputzim. Like once exactly when you think, but that's the same exact concept when it comes to the Mishkan. Shiputzim means construction. It actually means being ripped off in modern Hebrew. Shiputzim means someone's ripping you off. Like it always. No?
Makes sense. It's called.
Shiputzim. Construction. That kind of, it's really what it means.
Yeah.
Who says that the final thing like this is what's amazing. Bina really points this out to me very clearly. Who says that that image that you had of what you thought would be the most ideal structure, once it's up there, maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe you'll think, this could actually look differently once you have a picture in front of you. What holds us back from admitting that the ideal picture of what we thought love would be needs a tweaking? What midah holds us back? Gaiva, again, pride. I had a picture of what it should look like. And I get to it, and I'm operating from there with that love that I thought this is what it means, and it's not clearly I mean, Mindy, this is really addressing you again. It's clearly not the ideal situation for what's needed now at this moment. Gaiva comes in my way again and says, listen, don't mess with this. This is ideal. Don't, but it's not ideal. No, it's ideal. And this keeps on going back and forth. So I'd rather focus on utensils and vessels because those are small things that I have to, I could just pick up and try on because the Gaiva doesn't mess me with those things. Smaller, I'm starting with small. Small to big, it's easier. But it's not true, it's not like that. What's that?
Also fear. They're so scared.
Betach.
Get it wrong, of being
Betach.
bad, of messing up.
100%, all those things are rooted in Gaiva. Fear is rooted in Gaiva. We had a whole shiur on this one time. Mamish, the whole inyan of Pachad is actually rooted in Gaiva. Because somehow someone told us that when something doesn't end up the way that you think it should be, then the whole world has been destroyed. Everything's wrong. No, it's a nekuda. It's a sensitive nekuda. Wait, your hand was up, yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, having children, and you have a sense of the small things, like my kids are going to love learning, they're going to love leading davening, all the things that I would just love to do if I was a boy. Want to say, yeshiva all the time, and my kids are not that. So if I see small, this is what I expected, this is what I hope, those are the small things I expected. I feel like big adult, their neshamas are amazing, and they're good people, and they're wonderful, and they are filled with love.
Devam.
But it's the day-to-day, refusing to go to school, being disrespect, things that are the details, don't really matter when you, pull back. And it's really hard to pull back.
Oh, it's torture.
Hard to pull back.
It's torture. It took me,
I have two kids who are having personal days today. So.
Personal days, right. That's why you're here.
Absolutely. Give a little kid that before I go there.
I feel it's not really fair what I'm going to say because it took me 4 kids, but it was after 4 girls, the boy came, right? So I already decided I am not putting any instrument in front of him. I'm not talking to him about anything about kahuna. All these things that kivyachol are right? And my heart melted. This morning I saw a video that I guess Kiki posted, maybe Eli took, I don't know, about the boys and lamplighters with Rav Shlomo, and he was pulling out tzitzis, but talking about it as spaghetti. And Nachman was talking to me about it all Shabbos. I know what he was talking about. Then I saw a video of him running to kiss the tzitzis that he was holding. And for those of you that have been in shul, he's kind of into his kahuna. Big time. You've never been benched, you've never been duchened until you've heard Nachman do Birkas Kohanim, mamish, right? But I always think if he was born as the Bechor, right? Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine how many, how off, whatever, it's just all begeder, this all falls under, what do we know? But I do think about this thing, I think about these things all the time. Trust me, there's plenty of mistakes I'm sure I'm doing with him too, but these nekudot of what you're saying, big adol, these are big neshamas, these are beautiful neshamas, and that's how first I look at them. That's what I see when I look at them. That's what I see when I think of them. And it's an amazing thing what you're saying. That's the Mishkan. And that's clear to me. That's there. And that has to be embedded in me the way that I even think about my child. It's very hard, and not less here in Chutz La'aretz. So when your kids are older, well, what are your children up to? Now imagine one of your children was in an Ivy League school, and they were acing it, but their neshamas were drawing them to something that's not that, right? And then how easy it is to proudly tell your friends whose kids are, they're basically eating Shaq's cheese, if you know what I mean, from the beginning of shiur. They got the BA, they got the MA, right? To tell your child with pride, no, I'm so proud of them. They listen to they follow the pulse of their own, the beat of their own drum, and they're seeing, they're tasting different things, but I'm so proud of them that they're listening to their neshamas. Really, what are they doing? Right now, they're actually not doing so much, but they're in a very good place of searching, and they have their parents. What's the right word? They have their parents.
Haskama.
Even more than askama, like encouragement. Even a child that feels love from the home will do that and share that with their family as well, and not live in this fear of letting them down and everything. That's a kid that grows up with knowing that the bridge is intact. The bridge is intact. The bridge of love is intact. Kids that don't feel that can be led to very immediate and dangerous rebellions because they're going to look for love in all the wrong places. We know this already. This happens all the time. Okay. Ken hu af b'inyan hachinuch. This is the same thing we just said about Moshe and Betzalel. The same thing in the world of chinuch. Im nivne et tchulat hakli lelo hakli, הרי שלא יהיה לנו מקום להניח את התכולה. If we build the, how do you say תכולה in English?
Content.
Yes, the content of the vessel without the vessel, then there'll be no place to place the content. ומכיוון שהכלי דרכו אנו מחנכים הוא אהבה, and since the vessel through which we educate is love, ברור הדבר, it's got to be clear, שתחילה אנו צריכים לבנות ולייסד את האהבה. That first we have to build and make the love the foundation, ורק לאחר מכן נוכל להעניק את התכולה שהוא החינוך עצמו. Only then can we give over the content, which is the actual חינוך. כאשר החינוך אינו מוענק בכלי של אהבה, but when חינוך is not given over in a vessel of love, דומה הדבר, this is likened, לאדם השופך מים מקנקן ואין כוס תחתיו, שסופם להישפך לארץ. It's like someone that's taking a cup of water, whatever, you want to pour it into another cup, and there's no cup beneath you, and it just falls onto the ground. That's mamish what it's like. אף חינוך המוענק ללא כלי של קיבול של אהבה, חינוך that's given without the receptatory vessel of love, סופו לרדת לטמיון. That means that חינוך will go down the drain. ועל אף שיש בחינה שמאל דוחה במי מקרבת, אולם גם השמאל דוחה צריכה לנבוע מתוך אהבה. He's saying, but listen, we know that sometimes you have to be heavy, you have to be harsh. He's saying, yeah, that's fine. But even that harshness has got to emanate from love. Like he said, Et asher yohav Hashem yochiach. What Shlomo HaMelech says in Proverbs, in Mishlei, that the one that Hashem loves, he's mochiach. The obvious question I have to so many of us, including myself, is it ever too late? No. Did you hear that? You answered it for us. I have to believe that though. Is it ever too late when my kid's already 20? When my kid's 40?
50, gotta give up.
When my kid's...
What?
Ein Yehush Ba'ilam
And
Klau.
you're 80 with Alzheimer's.
I can tell you.
Oh, and okay, if we 50 with Alzheimer's, you
80
shouldn't...
with
The
Alzheimer's.
parent is 80 with Alzheimer's, the kid is
Yeah,
50.
right. So the parent with Alzheimer's is not osek in the question of...
Very facetious.
Right, no, I know. But let's say you're still holding cup, to a certain extent. So forget 50. I would go even much, I would go younger. I would actually say I would say 15. I'd say like 15, that's a nice number for right now. Kid's 15. I did everything wrong until now. So the foundation, the home they grew up in is not one that they know for sure, they feel it's all love. And then, let's say I learn a shiur like this, or something happens to me in my drive now, is because obviously this is a much easier shiur for people that are about to become parents, or parents with toddlers, or with kids that basically don't talk back yet. It's an easy shiur. Everyone feels like, they have it all, you walk out feeling, we have the perfect recipe, we know what we're going to do. What about children that are 15, that are 18? Right? This is a real deep shaila. This is a real deep shaila. So
Even I'm 43, I know I still need love from my mom. It's like, we all know we still need that love, so that means our kids obviously will always need that love.
And the question is, and I love your mom. I don't want to get personal. She's gewalt, but I'm saying, I don't want to make it about her, but let's say anyone. Let's say that wasn't the story growing up, right? Let's say...
But kids always need the love, even if they don't get it.
So because the need from the child is always there, even if it wasn't like that until now, if the need is still there, and there's a ratzon from the parent to now say, let's make this happen, so Rabbi Nachman was right. Ein yeush ba'olam klal. Not that we need this to justify Rabbi Nachman, but you understand what I'm saying. There's no despair. Because you're 100% right. A child, and even though we don't want to admit that, and I'm very happy you're saying that. I'm a parent. I have a life. I don't need love. I need acceptance, and don't bother me too much, and send me money. That's what I need from my mother at 43 or 45 or 50. No, it's not true. It's not true. A child's ratzon to receive love from the parent is eternal. It's eternal. Yeah.
Is it ever where there's too much love and there's not enough discipline, so it kind of goes awry?
Of course. Of course. Of course. We spoke about it a little bit a few months ago, and we're going to get to it again a little bit later on, 100%. But Be'ezer Hashem, let that be the issues that we deal with as opposed to the other way around. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lisa.
I don't mean this cynically, but when you asked the question of, is it ever too late? I was thinking like too late meaning I don't think it's ever too late to build something beautiful and new in the relationship between a parent and child. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you can undo what's been done until now. Like that experience is still there and doesn't mean that things are going to be rosy and perfect, but it's never too late to like l'chadesh and add something new into the picture.
1,000,000%. I think when I said, is it ever too late, I have to be a little bit clear with what I meant. Is it ever too late to build a foundation? Yesod, leyased, that's the word that he used here. That's more where the question came from. But I still think the answer is the same.
Just taking these two ideas, though, I'm thinking like, I know there were so many people that I worked with that I kept hearing the theme of people that had horrific childhoods and stories and things that happened to them, and they said if today and they're in their 40s or maybe older, my parent would call me and say, I acknowledge what I did, I see how it affected you, I want to start anew. Like, so many people talk about how that would just change everything. Like, even though everything's there, you're right, it's like imprinted on us. It also completely alchemizes the experience of a kid at the end of the day is always ready and available. Yeah, a child right inside him.
That approach is a mature approach. When they're a little bit younger in maturity, the answer would be, it's done. Mitzad the child would say, I've heard that also many times. There's nothing they could do. It's that damaged goods, but the MS is not like that. The MS is what you said, or what you heard from from different people. And what Leah was really saying right now, the MS is a child that's always looking for that love, which means that to a certain extent to build the Mishkan is possible at any given age. And it's true, it doesn't remove everything. But somehow in the child's experience of this world, they come to understanding of like, for some reason, I had to go through this. And there's a level of acceptance beside the child as well. Resentment chills out a little bit. The resentment goes down. And then there's openness for a new foundation. So foundation doesn't mean something that was there from day one. Foundation can mean a new perek in life, a new chapter in life, where now this is how we're going to be meeting each other. All based on love and all based on trust, which can happen, mamash, at any given. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should believe it could happen at any given moment.
What were you going to say about the 15-year-old though?
That can they, exactly, it's about them. Do you have a 15-year-old? Yeah. I have a 16-year-old, so I was 15 last year. I was. What'd you say?
I'm not going to say that.
Oh yeah.
I think weed would be good for her, right? 15-year-old.
For the 15-year-old or for the parent? Oh.
Yeah, not for the kid.
I think that it's very, very kol mikre legufo. Like each kid at its own. Today's 15-year-old, what they have access to, and where their and the imagination can take them to in terms of what love is far more advanced. I don't know what the right word is. Even like
Intricate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was the Rav who said that Sdom is just a push button away?
Him.
Oh, he said that?
Yes. He didn't say Sdom, he said 3 generations. He said the generation of the flood, the generation of the Mabul, the generation of Dor HaFlaga, the Tower of Babylon, and Sdom are all showed up together in this door right before Mashiach. Yeah. He said it in a different sefer we learned. I forget which one it was a while ago. Yeah. And yet look at us. Chasdei Hashem. We're still very strong. So just the last, I'm going to do 2 more lines here. Nimtzenu lemidim. So we see here שישנם שתי מטרות עבורן ליצח את האהבה של ההורים לילד. So there are 2 purposes for which love is needed between parents and children. א', האהבה היא כעין המזון של נפש הילד. Just spiritual nourishment. Child needs love to exist, like food. That's 1. 2, האהבה נצרכת ככלי להענקת החינוך, because you will need and want and are obligated to educate them. But without love, you can't really educate. You can't really discipline. You can't really give over to them all that you dream to give over to them and all that you're discovering along the way that you want to give over to them. Those are the 2 reasons he explains over here why love is essential. Spiritual nourishment, just to keep them alive, and also for what we discussed much more in depth today, is for the world of chinuch that we want to give over to our children. Bezrat Hashem, we're going to take this to the next level next week. It should be a week full of good news, Bezrat Hashem.